Welcome to my channel. I am Lucy. I live in a year in New Zealand with my husband Tim and my two daughters Ramona and Juno, who are 4 and 7. Today I want to share with you my #1 relationship tip. It's a real goodie. Before I do that, I want to remind you that over the next week I'm going to be giving away 6 t-shirts on my Patreon channel. They say stay radical or hippie or earth lover. They're totally amazing, 100% organic cotton. All you have to do to be into it is become a patron. I do the rest of the work and I'll send a t-shirt to you wherever you are in the world. Tim and I have been married for 12 years now. We just celebrated our 12th year anniversary. It's pretty epic. And of course that absolutely does not make me an expert on long-term relationships at all. And I'm no expert in parenting either. I feel like I want to say before I carry on that we have horrible days as well and horrendous weeks with each other where nothing is going right and we're all kind of squabbling. I really hope that this doesn't come across as me having it totally sorted, because that is not true. In fact, nothing really qualifies me for making this video at all, apart from that I have some really good loving relationships in my life and I'm really passionate about human relationships and human connection. And I basically go through my life trying to bring to myself and gather in all the information that is out there about the optimum human relationships and how I can put that into effect so that I have got the best marriage I could possibly have and the best relationship with my children that I could possibly have. So that's why a lot of my videos are actually about parenting, why I write so much about parenting. I'm completely committed to trying to learn from all the people out there who have done some amazing research and who want to share that goodness with me. So I am in turn going to share it with you. And this is probably something that's quite fundamental to my marriage and to my relationship with my children. And it's this idea that has come from the Gottman Institute. Gottman, he's a doctor, he's still alive, he's been married to his wife for ages. His wife is an absolutely incredible psychologist, therapist lady. And they have done 30 years of study into marriage and what keeps marriages together and what kind of makes them fail. And they have found that they can actually predict whether couples will stay together or whether they will divorce, depending on just a few little factors. One of the factors that says whether a marriage will thrive long term or whether it will fail is if the couple has more positive interactions than negative interactions. And that seems so basic, but you actually have to be really conscious about keeping all of that in balance. In fact, they say that the optimum number of positive to negative things is 5 to 1. So for the best human relationships, this is your marriage, your role as a parent, or even with your colleagues, it is the best to have 5 positive things to 1 negative thing. So in the 5, it might be expressing thanks, just having a warm cuddle and a kiss. It might be sharing a joke, it might be sharing a story, or showing interest in something that each other is doing. So they're kind of a little example of positive interactions. And in the negative, they're much easier to come by. So that's things like nagging, ignoring them, or biting back if they say something, it's mocking them. No, all those little negative interactions that you can often have, particularly on very grumpy days. And while I don't walk around with a kind of spreadsheet in my head, I am vaguely aware of wanting to fill up my vault in all of my human relationships with good interactions, so that when a negative interaction does come out, it doesn't kind of ever outweigh the great vault of good interactions that I have built up with this person. So I'm not going, yeah, that's 5 to 2, oh no, that's 4 to 3 now. I'm not kind of doing those calculations as I move through my day. Actually, very often when we look back through a struggling period in our marriage, we'll see that we've been so rushed off our feet that we've only ever been sharing perfunctory messages with each other, and they've tended to be, if not neutral, then negative, and it's things that we haven't done in order to keep our family life afloat, and or sharing the most basic of information of each other just to kind of survive. And when we're in a really good season in our marriage, it's really quite obvious that those good interactions are just abounding. So rather than trying to keep like an account of all my goods and all my negatives, I try really hard to always express my gratitude when I feel it. So whenever the girls do something or whenever Tim does something, I always take a few moments to say why I'm so thankful that they did that thing. And that's just like a guaranteed positive thing. Plus, the flip side of gratitude is that it actually makes the person expressing the thanks happy as well. So, you know, that's win-win for everybody. I also make sure that we do warm good mornings and warm good nights and warm goodbyes. So that means that there's little windows all through the day that are really nourishing and really cherishing, and yep, positive interaction in the vault. Since doing a little bit more reading about human relationships, I also came across this amazing book called 4 Ways to Click, and I highly recommend it. It's a brilliant book. And since reading that, I kind of now understand the wider reasons that whole 5-to-1 positive interactions to negative interactions works on a kind of neuroscientific level. Although, yeah, it is just, you know, it kind of makes basic sense. Have more positive interactions than negative interactions. Yeah, good one. It's kind of a simple equation, but the neuroscience behind it is really fascinating. When we see the face of someone, say it's a colleague or a partner or a child, if we usually relate to them in a certain way, our brains fire at that and they produce more neural pathways to make that interaction even more entrenched or embedded. So say for example, you're always having to make really hard business decisions with a colleague at work or something. When you see that person's face, your brain is going to immediately flip into, right, now it's time for me to make really hard business decisions. And it's not going to laugh, your brain isn't going to want you to laugh easily, it's not going to want you to experience a flood of endorphins, so all of those neural pathways are going to shut down. And the ones that require your business, calculated, kind of hard-hearted decision-making skills, all of those neural pathways are going to be firing up like pew pew, and that's going to be great for your business. You and your colleague are going to be making some great decisions, but you're not going to be able to, it's going to be much harder for you to have a good laugh with each other. It's going to be much harder for you to love each other. And if you're always shouting and nagging at, say, your children or your partner, whenever you see their face, the same is going to happen. Your brain's going to go, right, it's time to nag them about something, or it's time to allow that cortisol to flood through my system and be really stressed. And it's not going to actually love them very easy. It's not going to laugh with them very easy. And it definitely isn't going to flood them with joy when you see their face. However, if you have enough good interactions with your daughter, son, or whatever family member, when you see their face, yeah, your brain's neural pathways are going to bubble up and be like, I love these guys, they make me laugh, they make me feel so happy. And then you're going to be even less likely to ever shout or nag and all that kind of thing. I hope that makes sense. It's an extra layer, or a sort of the neuroscience behind why the Gottman Institute 5-to-1 interaction thing actually makes so much more sense. I do love this idea that our brains are plastic, and once we know all of this stuff, we can actually really work and mold our brains to have the most optimum relationships. You don't ever have to think, I'm just the nagging husband, or I'm just a nagging wife, and I'm just a shouty mum, there's nothing I can do about it. You really don't have to think that. You can embrace a new way and understand that neural pathways will start firing and making it easier and easier and easier for you to be a connecting, empathetic spouse and a joyful and fun mother or father. Humongous housefly has just swanned in from outside and it's buzzing around, it's driving me crazy. So I'm gonna go and swat it and leave you with that. It's basically like my #1 relationship tip from everything that I've ever read. So I hope that maybe helps you a little bit and encourages you to just keep finding all the ways you can to express your thanks and express your joy with the people in your life who are really important to you, knowing that you're building a new brain. Yeah! Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Let me know your #1 tip, because if I'm an expert, you probably are too. Lots of love, wherever you are in the world. Keep radical.